Hey review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy, review music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Carcass record entitled Torn Arteries. A lot of you guys have been requesting this one ever since I got back and ever since this dropped, and I swear to God, I really have been hyped to really cover this Carcass record. Because I had a feeling this was going to go one of two ways for a lot of Carcass fans and a lot of death metal fans. Either it was going to pan out, be fantastic, fireworks, live up to potential, and just be a wonderful, fun, exhilarating Carcass record from the three-piece. Or it was going to be something Carcass sometimes has a habit of, which is building up a lot of hype, getting a lot of people on the line, hook, line, and sinker, and just basically not really living up to what people were hoping for. I am a sucker for heartwork. Who isn't? Who doesn't love that record? But I just have a lot of respect for Carcass's early years, personally. The fact they just literally said, we're just gonna, like, invent an entire fucking genre single-handedly, an entire, like, subgenre of metal gore grind, and just bounce off and just say, we're done with that. And then just slowly but surely take this turning point where they became this amazing melodic death metal band and continue to be one of the best melodic death metal bands. Carcass's insane ability just through lineups and through different changes and through these big gaps between their studio albums, being able to continuously just make these records in different genres that are fantastic and timeless. Literally tip of the hat, bravo. There's really nothing more you can say about them. And there's very few bands in Carcass's lane that can hold a candle to them. Wasn't the biggest fan of Surgical Steel. I don't own that record, I don't really want to own that record, and in my opinion, I think it's probably their weakest outing for melodic death metal that they had ever come out with. I know there were people saying it was a resurgence, it was their renaissance, it was them rebirthing themselves and sort of returning to their melodic death metal heyday, but the reason I disagree with that is I think it was one of those instances where people were building up so much hype around it that anything that Carcass was going to breathe in their direction was going to sound amazing. Because there's a difference between getting your expectations up so high that there's no way they're not going to be disappointed and hanging on every word of a band so hard that they can do no wrong. It's difficult to put into words what I want to say about this record, but I think it's a lot easier than most people might anticipate. Please pinch me or wake me up or just slap me in the face and tell me I'm wrong if this isn't probably the most fun death metal record that has dropped this year. Like, what? And it's not even that technical, it's not really that complicated. Sure, there are some guitar licks that are very technical and riff lines that are very intricate. They've always had a very tight and clean sound, or at least I should say in their melodic death metal era around Heartwork's time, they really started to clean up their sound and tighten all the nuts and bolts. Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited and Under the Scalpel Blade are two tracks that really do have some awesome riffs behind them, but for the most part, this record rips. Like, how, after all of these years, is Carcass able to sound this tight, this focused, this determined, and this vigorous? I always try to stay unbiased when I'm going into a record after one that I wasn't really a big fan of, and like I said, wasn't a big fan of Surgical Steel, but that drum fill that opens up Torn Arteries, going into this gritty, just gruesome, old school death metal riff, and a lot of thrash metal influence bleeding through this. Jeffrey Walker has not aged a day. He slides across some of these riffs like a madman. Like Chuck from Death would be proud. Vocally, there's that raspy register, there's that throaty, shrill, sort of ghoulish delivery, and with Carcass still living up to sort of their medical ethos and all of the little medical terminology in their lyrics and in their song titles, this record is a blast. They've lost none of their ferocity, and it's difficult for me to find things to complain about this record. I'm so impressed by how this record seems like it's out of like 1988 but has the production of now without feeling like it has no life to it. It's a little long for my taste, and in my opinion, by the end of it, it can feel a little bit fatigue. I don't want to say their ideas get worn out, but they certainly do run a little bit dry. They dip into the well a lot, but who the hell cares? It's been so long since we've got this brand spanking new, fresh Carcass material that I don't really mind. Sometimes there's a record that is what it is, that is fun, that is exhilarating, that has all of the energy and all of the gusto and the punch, and you can't really say much about it because it has the guts and glory, it has the blood on the walls. In Carcass's case, they probably like wrote on the walls with blood. Throughout this runtime and a great production, like I said, it sounds like it's from the 80s but still now somehow. They're boisterous, they feel gross, and they feel vile, but there's also this old school edge that you can't get from many other bands nowadays. For example, Cannibal Corpse recently released like a really good record that I enjoy quite a lot. A lot of people really enjoyed it. But with Carcass, there's that edge of melodicism, there's that edge of just melody, there's that edge of technicality. Boiling them down to just a death metal band is almost impossible because harmoniously they have so many melodies interwoven throughout these tracks that just are ear candy, that make it catchy, and you're like, I'm bobbing my head, I'm headbanging, but this shouldn't be as catchy as it is. And then frantically, they'll just panic their way through like these guitar solos and these twisting labyrinths of technical riffs. Maybe would have liked to see Jeffrey sort of up the ante and do some different vocal styles, but that's once again another demand of just having a really long record. All in all, that's probably my only complaint with this record, is the length sort of makes their ideas run a little bit dry. But I'm not gonna waste your guys' time. Carcass released a fun, exuberant, energetic record with so much gusto, so much flair, so much flavor, and it's not the most original Carcass record. If you like Surgical Steel, if you like Heartwork, it's definitely still sitting in that lane. But they just have this burst of energy, and even though this got delayed because of the you-know-what, I'm glad it's out now. We are blessed in the year 2021 to have a record that's just so fun, and that's what it is. It's a damn good time, and sometimes it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. They are in their element, they're here to kick ass, and they're not making any apologies, and they're not afraid to just stamp on your face like just a piece of gum on the side of the road and just rake you on the cement with their boots. Shit, man, this is one of those reviews where it makes me want to go listen to the record again, and I've just had this big dumb smile on my face the whole time. That says a lot about it. I'm gonna be giving this record a 9 out of 10, and that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Carcass record, Torn Arteries? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is J Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.